Hello. Right, we are back with a new game. Greatest Attorney Chronicles, which I've had sitting on my PlayStation for like 4 years now. 4 or 5 years? 4. Came out 2001. 3 years? Am I just stupid? 3 years? A few years. Let's just say a few years. So this is going to be our kind of like breakup palette cleanser game between FromSoft games. So we just finished DS3. We're going to do 2 cases in this, and then we're going to jump into Bloodborne. So let us jump in. I've not watched anything. I don't know any like spoilers or anything. In fact, I should probably put on in my tags on the stream like no spoilers. There we go. Just make sure that's on there just in case. Right. Special content? I always like to look in these like little extras menus beforehand. Okay. Trophy stuff. Art gallery stuff. Music. Taylor? Is there costumes in this? Oh, fancy. Outfits are only available for use in the second game, so we wouldn't be seeing these anytime soon, anywhere. Extra short episodes? Oh, there's like extra. Oh my god. Huh. I wonder when these are like canonically supposed to take place. Oh, I'll have to look into that. I had no idea that was in there in the credits. Okay. Select adventure. Oh, that confused me for a second because it looked like the exact same menu. Alright. Episode 1, Great Departure. Episode 2, Unbreakable Speckled Band. The Runaway Room. Clouded Kokoro. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Yes, it's 5. I think it's 5 in both games. For 10 total. Oh, we get like full animated cutscenes.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
The Adventure of the Great Departure, Episode 1. (22nd of November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Supreme Court of Judicator, Defendant Antechamber Number 5. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Can I speed up the text scroll? Because that's a little too slow. That's for autoplay. Not gonna fuck with that. Text box transparency. Sure. Enable or disable the skipping of unread text in game. Is there not? No way, there's not a setting for text speed. Really? Huh. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yunpei University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. Oh, different character. He's not obligated to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I am this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge gives his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no. I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yumei University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. Gotta say, the character models look really nice. You mean? I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yumei University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of a lawyer is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. Where is the wind blowing your bandana coming from? But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma, truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been dreaming forever of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. You'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the sophisticated legal system in the world. I admit I'm completely butchered that sentence. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. There we go, that's better. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. Oh, no, you don't want to go there. We suck. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. No, dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. I can't decide if he's going to be like the Maya Fair and he's going to get murdered in the second case of the game, or if he's going to be the secret killer all along. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? I have no idea who's speaking. Oh, okay. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chamber. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who's this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Runosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Bow. Ah. I'm still here. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant, Runosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikutaba. I am a professor of forensic medicine at Yumei University. Ah, Professor Mikutaba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma's studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel like you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. Never granted? Gee, that's harsh. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas studies. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant? The court is about to begin. Proceed through the courtroom at once. Ah, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are about to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this... Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Oh, we're going to defend ourselves. Is the question going to be who's going to be acting on the defense? Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. If the trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. Yeah, the more important of the two things that are gonna happen. And so, with absolutely no idea what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. (22nd of November, 9 AM. Supreme Court. Adjudicator. Courtroom 2. So this is a courtroom. Okay, I'm really digging the visuals on this game. It's so good. The Supreme Court of the Adjudicator. No court in the land has more power. I don't like the looks of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that is closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now... You need to concentrate, Yorinosuke. It's about to begin. Oh shit! That's the fucking... The prosecutor's the fucking same guy as the whatchamacallit, the Phoenix Wright games. So are we gonna get like ancient Japanese versions of like Lotta Hart and Wendy Oldbag and stuff like that? Oh, I need to come up with another male voice. The court will now hear the trial of Yorinosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. I need to come up with a different name for this guy. A different voice for this guy. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That is correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to the trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for a final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Answer I do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I am standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Veronesco Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Veronesco? Professor Mikotaba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I wouldn't be able to get you off. Phrasing. No, it's not like that. It's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotaba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court will hereby recognize the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. I think I've just switched voice on him again. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really? Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident that he can speak for himself. Fucking Veronesco's eyes just like darting around the room constantly. Isn't that right, Naruhodo-san? Yeah. Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. Hey. That's the Phoenix pose. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still. Try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated the most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware. Oh god, I think I'm on like the third voice for this guy. I need to get like a solid voice for him. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of the Adjudicator of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected in all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, you can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with a very simple question. Yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous. I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case is found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of R1. If you've ever found you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press R1 for the court record. Alright, there's no time to lose. This is a list of the evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with R1. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, press circle to go back. John H. Wilson, 47, victim in the case. He was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. Okay, Aochi, lead prosecutor in the case, who would appear to have little love for the changes in the Cultural Reformation has brought about. And the professor and Casimir we know. What was the evidence? Can I switch back to that? Remember, everything to do with the court record, its current case can be found in there. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Okay, university collar pin. Postmortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. It was caused by blood loss from a gunshot to the chest. Bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Okay. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record and then press triangle to present. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes! That instead of hold it. The victim's name was John H. Williamson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to UMA University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has taken such... Indeed, which is why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. As most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates of the Imperial UMA University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming from under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson is an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear. Look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously, that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now! Yes! I don't know if I like yes as a exclamation to use instead of hold it. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, the doctors dissect corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. Okay, that's gonna be like open up so much in the way of like things to discuss and debate over in this game. Like the lack of proper post-mortem stuff. There's gonna be like disagreements in cases about the cause of death and stuff like that. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is the so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. Oh, what a ruined a perfectly good steak. Damn. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole punctured by the powdered explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Modern scientific record. A photo. Damn. Okay. That's how we're doing this. Okay, add it to the evidence. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. Yeah, it's all new shit then. University collar pin, that's going to be like the equivalent of Phoenix's lawyer badge that he just always has on him. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well, I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better appraise the court with the facts of this case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotaba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer here today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking to me before, he simply said, Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Seriously, like, it's constantly billowing at all times. Little tiny fan on the back of his head. Oh, hello. Witness, state your name and occupation to the court, please. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. And he's clearly the one who did it. Because if I remember right, in all of these like first cases, it's always there's like one person to cross-examine, and it's always them that did it. I am the head waiter of a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, Oh shit, that was actually blood coughing coming from his mouth. It's a regular occurrence. It doesn't really bother me. Just a little bit of tuberculosis, you know. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It has become quite a fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 days ago. I probably mispronounced that word. Understood, Hosonaga-sama. You will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. I've changed his voice. And no petty interjections from the aspiring liar-boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it too. There's hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. The gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Yes! No, not this thing to scream. Hold on, let me clarify something here. While I did pick up the gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him. Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we have here today in court. Yes, without a question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around the table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, he was talking with a lady. There was a woman sitting opposite him at the table. Really? That's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? Interject! Yes! Yes! Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting at the table. Objection! Dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I begin to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-sama, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant, as it was that day. Please, have a look. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. Why would a waiter have a business card? Okay, whatever's on the other side is going to be like really important. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Very well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will now take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Oh, I've just completely fucked up. If anyone looks at the other side of the card. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something suddenly seems to have shaken him. Where's his business card? So, the court has now heard the pieces of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I call this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikutaba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face. Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Verunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Oh, actually getting multiple testimonies in the first case. That's interesting. Indeed. Prosecutor Aochi, please continue with the proceedings. Very well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness the woman who wasn't on the other side of the table. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witness at once. Oh. Wait, both of them at the same time? I guess. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. I am Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant. Yes and no, sir. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employees a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from the Rasute, a humble premises on the second district. Kiryu Korekuta, at your service. An antiques dealer and a soldier, with an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table, the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea in the most exquisite aroma of the establishment in question. Always post noon. Not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curios which I make my business. I can't understand a word this old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during the last thing he said. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, let the court hear from your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories are the most acerbic of a most acerbic afternoon. I'm gonna be honest, this game's kind of throwing words at me that I've not actually, heard before. What the witness saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At the precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly weasel. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Oh, from the back. Huh. Okay. Because the gunshot was in his chest, and the autopsy report says the bullet didn't go right through, so there we go. I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Well, you see, Sergeant Nosa actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. I just noticed he's got different stuff every time. Like he's messing around with different curios. What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryanosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimony, there's a clue as to who the criminal was. There is? Ryanosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witness. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring the despicable student to justice. Certainly. The testimony has been the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands this right to a cross-examination. Dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Gulp. Casimir is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witness. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryanosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's testimony and blah. Okay. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that the soldier has to be the... I'm sorry. You didn't fire the gun, which means what the soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryanosuke. Don't let them beat you. Stop! Oh my god. The massive, Casimir just slams the table and then Ryanosuke just gently slaps it. The fact that he looked at his hand to be like, oh, that was just a little slap. Oh, that was great. I was investigating the regulation beef and steak at the restaurant while having a technical discussion with the old man. Okay, this is repeating. Yeah. Yes! Press you on that. So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative, I saw you. Laughing, cackling, like a madman, as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. Slap? But that's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. Was that private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over at the victim's table. So what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't act that. It would mean that... Oh my god, I'm just stumbling over my words. That's what I was worried about playing this game, so I put it off for so long. I knew I was just going to fumble over dialogue so much. I'm like terrible at reading stuff out, I don't know why. It would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Ah. And double R. My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up on the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd not have gotten to where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well, that sounds like bullshit. It would seem this soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. Prime presser. Just press somebody for the first time. Okay. Okay. There we go. This is the one. Press. So this black uniformed university cadet is saying that was... Yeah. I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see in here in a black uniform? Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits that description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back, you call yourself a citizen of the great Empire of Nippon. You disgust me. That face. Oh, that face was so dumb. So goofy. Amazing. I love it. What is it, Ronosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said. But I can't help put my finger on it, but something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court, thrust it in the witness's face, and make them choke on it. The photo of the victim. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we didn't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond a doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? Well, what are you talking about? It's apparent from the single glance of the photographic print presented by the defense that there is a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant, yes or no, sir? Yes or no, sir? Oh my fucking god, I just got that one. I forgot there's like pun names in all of these. Yes sir, no sir. Oh God's sake. So what's the old man's stupid name? I need to go back and look at that again. Yes sir. What sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian from the back. A cowardly little weasel. Yes sir, affirmative sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir. Yes. But no, that can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? But what the fuck? That freaked me out for a second. Oh, that was so weird. Oh, that's what the red ribbons around his chest are. It's going to be like a little thing for the baby on his back. Okay. I didn't even question that. Like what that was on his clothes. Oh my god. Oh, What? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant? No, sir. Yes, sir. The structure that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant, yes sir, no sir, did not see the defendant firing the gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Yeah. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. Yes, I was, but I never fired that gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. Oops. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself? I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for a treasure, the gun. Treasure? Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, coin. Indeed, my Huera Coban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute, in the hopes of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hohe treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Coban vanished? Punching around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did. I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hohe treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. What a lamentable day. The precious Hohe Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard is inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Aochi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing the next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as curacoa glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Why do you have a baby on your back? Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. Newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It seemed those straps are a sign of a sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido, attention. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Oh, they really went all out with the animations for this one. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment of the firearm was discharged, it almost certainly the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, the visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than a black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly... Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence to this fact. Yeah, there's no plate on the other side of the table. Oh, was there? Oh, we have like a magnifying thing. Interesting. Is this photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel? Indeed, the table at which the victim was dining, taken by the investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Ugh, this doesn't make any sense. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me, just yawning. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. A bottle of carbonated water and steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear I saw a woman with him. It would seem we'll be able to telegraph the report to the Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think I, Takatsuchi Aoshi, would have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Verneske. It's not over yet. What? If what you saw is true, then there's something going on behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it. Draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses. Make it quick, understood? Tsk, rules can be so unbending at times. Okay, I actually need to take a quick bathroom break, so I will be back in a couple of minutes, won't be too long. Alright, I am back. The true culprit. Pointing a gun at the foreign man, young lad in black. A visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present. Let's press that. Yes! You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Yeah, objection! As you have been there, as you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing calluses in my ears. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd been more people at the dining. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Yeah, what about Casimir? Alright. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating there at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hotter Clinic, yes. Wait, hang on. Isn't Hotter Clinic a location in the second Phoenix Wright game? I think it is. Hotter Clinic. Yes, it would appear there to be an entry at the time and date in question. 19th November, noon past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Roynosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered to the court record as evidence if you think it'd be useful. Should I ask for it to be added to the evidence? Yeah! Yes! Yes! If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have the right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for a submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Tsk. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Okay, is there any more information in that? Let's have a look. Nope. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Kurakuta-san. Indeed. Okay. Down in by yourself. Let's press him on that. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone, while you were scurrying about under the table looking for your missing coin. That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? Let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. Huh. That's not the same table. Because the sticks... Oh, I'm trying to think. Because the stick's partially been eaten, but it doesn't look like it's been touched at all there. But I don't know if that's just... No, because the chair... I wonder if it's just an angle thing, or if it's... The stick hasn't actually been touched there. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant and the waiter who testified before. It's not possible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Okay, that's the last statement. Let's go back to the first to impress then.
Yes!
No. It's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an unmistakable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Attention! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving a gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused at the most incriminating position as well. Isn't that right, Korikuta-san? Yes, pointing his gun at the old foreign man he was. That young lad in black. That much I did see. Yes. Press you on that. Yes, it may be true that I was holding a gun at that point in time. But I've told you already. That's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee and was about to leave the restaurant when I had noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. At that exact moment, the gunshot rang out in my ears. Full of events beyond your control, life is. Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you. with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Okay. I've already pressed that one. Therefore, no one else could have done it except for you.
Yes!
Press. Why aren't you telling the truth? What? What did you just say, Cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, that's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's just not a case that it's not just a case of those two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony earlier... oh god, my mouth is getting really dry doing this. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It's a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let's see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes. This is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? Ah. You notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press X. You can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the right analog stick to rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using the left stick, you can move the crosshair around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press X to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new that can be learnt from examining it. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Yep, controls again. Dentist? Oh, got a new view and 2D art of the characters. Looks like this medical report card was first issued some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors, then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine and give you painful injections. Then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege. All when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less. For which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Okay, let's take a look at the front first. So it is for him. Okay. It says Hodder Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics. almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Ugh, I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have only had one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We won't want to miss anything. Healthy curiosity? Thoroughly examined a piece of the memory card report. Wait, I had the ability to examine the inside of it, so... Okay. So these will all be past records. This will be the most recent. So let's look at past first. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of a molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although, it's hard to believe that there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure, until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Okay. So how could he be eating a steak? With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. But before we do that, can I examine... Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Oh. He was a cop. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do often show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigations Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they're wielding it somehow here. The witness business card information has been updated. Okay. Kitchen. Let's take a look at this thing properly. This plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident. But there's nothing to show the woman you say you saw here. Exactly. And that's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. Yes, what of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Rohinosuke. Oh. Entrance? Okay, it's just repeating itself. Okay. Eating all by himself. I think that's the one I'm going to have to... Yeah. because he can't have been eating by himself. Well, I think, what are you whittering about, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ronosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly from the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Fuck you, old man, you're lying. Kurakuta-san, this is the medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written in this report card with your witness statement. Slap. Something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interpret court proceedings of your amateur... You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But... let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that is completely irrelevant. But that's... remember, Ronosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one other Wow, that just cut off before I had the chance to actually read it. There is no one besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have perpetrated the crime. This medical record has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Huda Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just, what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure, while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Kurakuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court that with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. Oh, that was an actual proper slap on the table. It wasn't the little pathetic slap he's been doing before. It was a proper slam. He's getting that confidence. But that cannot possibly be the case. Grr. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted. Was still experiencing the effects of their anesthetic. Expertly done, partner. What? What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. As you can clearly see, the plate of food at the victim's table. Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant have turned. I completely read that wrong. I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ronosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Counsel? Oh, right, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been an as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. And yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak at his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support this assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, the two witnesses at the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously, you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No! Oh, old man is shaking. Negative. There's no meaning behind this. There's no mention of this in the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. Tactical meeting. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Kotakaru-san? Kurikuta-san, even? No. You were just following orders. Now, hold on, lad. I was, You say you never saw the gentlewoman. Say you never saw the gentlewoman. Ugh. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What? What is the meaning of this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one. Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order. Counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear to me now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to the murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Roanoke. Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Auchi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Like a corrupt detective. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to keep the witnesses, who tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything. Make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you, the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I know nothing. And what does the defense have to say about this, Well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier? Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Roanoke. Time to hit this cod with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosanaga's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Oh, and perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Will somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse of this business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. Sorry, just having a drink of water because I desperately need it. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular citizens are concerned. So, witness there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... An actual holder. Inspector Hosonaga. Oh god, what voice did I give him? Fuck. It's a very like kind of voice. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes. I remember it now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say, you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must... I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes. There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurants? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have also been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, a gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I'd guessed to be the Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the English woman from the scene at once? It was made clear that the English woman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this English woman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, it would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yumei University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical facilities research laboratory, is a young English woman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Jezebel Barrett. Not Jezeel. Giselle. Well, I don't think I've ever actually seen the name Giselle written out before. That actually took me a moment for it to like lock into place. Giselle Barrett, okay. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory at Yumei University's medical facility. What? What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of the lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline for the ruling in order to send telegraph to report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way. Are you going to be our new Dick Gumshoe? Are you going to be like showing up constantly for like every case? Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Okay, this case is actually going on way longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be like a quick one and done situation. Okay, that's an autosave. Second of November, a little while there. Just outside. Excellent work, Ronosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at least. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell you from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on the way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun laying on the floor. And just after I bent down to pick it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Nah. There you are, both of you. Okay, it's this guy. I thought it was, but I wasn't entirely sure. Professor Mikotaba. Well, it seems like I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned all this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis in his life. I shouldn't waste everybody's time by going to study abroad. Anyways. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd see it you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. That was the wrong voice. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim has a university professor from the victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau want to... The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I have no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. God, I'm starting to get like a little bit lightheaded and dizzy because of all of the fucking talking I'm doing. Jesus. Whew. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-san. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow, before those old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I saved the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria at the University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Back inside. Oh, you know, I might actually just end this stream now, because I'm getting really lightheaded and dizzy. I'm curious as to how much is left of this case, because we're 2 hours in, and this feels like a halfway point. I just want to take a quick look at just to get a sense of how far through this I am. Oh god, this is is like part 2 of 3 in this case. Jesus, this is like a full-on thing. Okay. Okay, you know what? I think I will wrap up here for today then, because I thought if this was maybe halfway through the case, then yeah, maybe I could like power through, but like a third of the way, yeah, I am like not going to be able to get through this whole thing without just like getting lightheaded and passing out. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to take a break. So we'll save here. We'll wrap up here for today. Damn, I was not expecting the first case to be like a full thing like this. Because just for some perspective, like previous games that I've played through the entirety of the first 2 Phoenix Wright games. I never did the 3rd one. And I never did any of like the Apollo Justice stuff either. But like I know usually in those games it's the first case is always like usually like a really quick thing to get you into it, but like this time it's like a full proper like long extended thing, which is kind of surprising actually. I'm also surprised that Ray Nosko, main playable character, is the defendant in the first case. I thought that might be like a thing that they do in a later one, but no, it's just like a right off the bat, so it's kind of surprising. Yeah, really enjoying the game so far. Like visually it's amazing. Like the 3D models are really good and the animations are like perfect as well. Let's just save again. Yeah, super enjoying it so far. Really cool. I look forward to seeing what else is coming. But yeah, I'll pick this up another day. God, I genuinely feel fatigued doing so many voices. I didn't think it was going to be like this intensive or this stressful. You know, I may end up splitting this up then and just doing a single case and then playing another game, then coming back for a single case. I'm not sure, we'll see. Maybe I can do a single case and then some of these special escapades. I need to look into them, see what the deal with them is. See how long they are. We'll see. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. We'll pick this up next time. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers. Bye now.